In this update, we're going to go through this week's day trades, we're going to update some swing trades and where the broad market stands. Okay, let's start things off with this week's day trades. We had 3 wins this week, 1 on Tuesday and 2 today. These were Tuesday's pre-market levels, and these were Wednesday's pre-market levels. So Tuesday's trade had 2 entries, triggered 2 short entries. We had the first level of 5621 and then 5633 enter. So we would have had a bit of drawdown going from first level to the second level, which would have given us an average entry around 5627. We would have been underwater for about an hour and a half here. So when price reversed around this 5633 level, we quickly came below our average entry at 5627, and then we got our scalp around 5621. We should have taken about a third off on our scalp, and then the second third we should have taken our second profit target at 5610. When price came below this first profit at 5621, traders should have raised stops to around where their average entry is. So if price did reverse back up to the average entry, the remaining 2/3 would have been taken out here. Today's trade on the Nasdaq, we had 1 entry trigger at 19337. We only got a scalp off of this trade, so we only got 20 points off of this. Traders should have raised their stops to above entry on this trade. We didn't manage to get to the second profit target before price came back down to entry. Okay, so this is today's trade after the close. We can see this 19337 level, price came down below it, so taking us underwater for about half an hour or so. Then traders should have taken a scalp here at 20 points on the Nasdaq and raised stops to above this 90 or around entry around 19337. So price came back down where we should have stopped out here. If you didn't stop out, you would have been lucky. Price did come back above. We didn't get to the second profit target. But later in the day, you can see this wouldn't have been a trade later in the day around after midday. It was too late in the day, but price bounced off this 19218 level really nicely, and you would have got, what was this, up to 400, so 200 points profit in that without much of a retracement in there. And looking at the final day trade, the US 500, so this trade had 2 entries triggered here. The first long entry at 5594. Price came below here and traded in a range for a good couple of hours here. We came back down. We didn't get all the way up to our scalp profit target, 5 points above entry at 5599. Price came back down to the second entry at 5585. Where traders should have doubled their position, which would have given you an average entry around 5590. After that, we had about 10-15 minutes before price finally came above the average entry, and then we got our scalp profit target hit at 5595, where traders should have raised their stops to around where their average entry is. So let's see how that looks on the end of day chart. So here's how that looks at the end of the day chart. We can see price came down to this first level at 5594. We didn't get up to 5599. We got pretty close, but price came back down to this second entry. Our average was somewhere around in here, and then we can see we got our scalp portion, and then traders should have stopped out around where the average entry is around here. Price did come back down to this third level and broke below, so that's why we don't trade. We don't trade in the afternoon. So how does that price action look on the hourly chart? So we had a pretty bearish day today. Price coming down into oversold territory on the hourly chart. It's not too much of a pullback though. We're only at this 19,200 level, 19,300. So last week we were talking around 18,900 would have been a typical pullback, so we're about halfway there at the moment. We're below the weekly moving average, and like I said, RSI is oversold, so we should be looking for a bounce around these sort of levels. PPO's in bearish territory, but that could start to turn up sort of, in the overnight session looking into tomorrow. So looking for a bounce into tomorrow. If we do come down to this 18,900 level, I think that's a nice place to go long. You'll probably have some RSI divergence on the hourly. How does that look on the daily chart for the Nasdaq? So we're close to this 18,900 with the 100-day moving average, and we've got some support around here. So getting close to there. If we do come down, I think that's a nice long entry. But otherwise, it's just a pullback after this bullish run off of the 200-day moving average, off of this bounce here. QQQ looks much the same, bounce off the 200 and 100-day moving average, and then just consolidation in the last week or so. And how does SPY look on an hourly chart? So SPY's just been moving sideways the last week or so. So we're below the weekly moving average on the futures for SPY, but only just below it. RSI's hit oversold at the moment, so looking for a bounce. PPO in bearish territory, but we could start to turn up in the hourly in the overnight session. If we do come down into tomorrow morning, we'll probably have divergence again in the US 500 as well as on SPY as well as on QQQ. So I'd be looking for a bounce into tomorrow if we do get any more downside action. So on the daily chart for SPY, if we get down to this 550 level, I think that's a nice place to go long. Looking at the futures chart, I think if you can get down to 5450, I think that's a little bit lower on the futures. So if we get some selling in the overnight session, I think this is a good place to go long. We've got the 100-day moving average below that will act as support, and then the 200-day, which is quite a way away. I would be cautious though. PPO is starting to curl over into bearish territory. RSI is close to overbought, so room to move down or up. But my take on this would be it's just been more consolidation in time, and we've worked off this rally. I think there's a good chance we can start to move up if we get a little bit more of a pullback over the next day or so. Okay, so European markets, the FTSE's been pretty strong over the last couple of weeks. We didn't get as much as a retracement. We didn't get all the way back down to the 200-day moving average, but prices bounced over here, and it's been pretty strong back into this consolidation range, top of the range at the moment. So not much to do with the FTSE, just waiting for this to get to the top of the range for a short or break above the range. The French CAC, so really nice divergence here on RSI and PPO. Since then we've bounced off of this 7170 level, 7100, and then since then it's just been pretty bullish ever since. We've come back into this range between 7,400, 7,750. So we've got a little bit of a way to go until we get to the top of the range where the 100 and 200-day moving averages coincide. So that could be a nice short if we get up into the top of the range. But at the moment we're right in the middle of the range, so there's not much to do. Just as much chance to go up or down from here. So just hold on for if you did go long down here, I would be waiting for the top of the range to take some profit. For day trading, I think you could probably try and trade this range. The DAX has been really bullish the last couple of weeks, so bouncing off of this 200-day moving average and then moving up all the way into all-time highs. I don't think there's much of a short at the moment. We can still move up from here. We could pop the all-time highs, move the RSI into solidly into overbought territory. PPO's not showing any sign that we're starting to move down at the moment. So DAX could be a short in the next couple of weeks, but at the moment there's nothing to do with the DAX. Moving on to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin found resistance at this 65,000 level that we were talking about last week on the weekend. Last 2 or 3 days, we've solidly rejected this level, which was the 100 and 200-day moving average. So we did tell traders to be cautious of Bitcoin around 65,000. We needed to see price break above and stay above for the next few days. So we've rejected this level now. So I think I'll take that the next few weeks and the next few months on Bitcoin could coming down to this 48,000 level, 40,000, maybe even as low as 30,000. I don't think now's a good time to be going long. I think longs. I think if we can break the previous low, that might be a nice place to go long. See how the hourly charts look then. But at the moment, we're probably just going to stay below this 65,000 level. So as long as we're below there, I would just be waiting for longs until 48,000. And on to some swing trades. So Warner Brothers has been doing well the last couple of days. We managed to get to this 845 level where traders should have booked some profit around here. Since then, we've pulled back down to the 790 level where there's support, where the 100-day moving average is as well. So we would expect to see price bounce off of here over the next few days. If price doesn't bounce off of here, traders should have stops in around where their entries are. And now that we've booked our first profit target, so no point guessing where it's going to go from here. I think the next target will be up around 884 and having stops around entry. Just hold on for a little bit longer to see if you can get a little bit more profit from Warner Brothers. UPS, nothing much to report there, just consolidating. I would be careful. RSI is starting to curl down. There is showing weakness here, so if we start to break below previous lows, I wouldn't be holding UPS. We should be stopping out of UPS. ALB's been pretty bullish. We had a bit of a pullback, but breaking above this 87.26 level, filling the gap. So be careful with ALB. If we start breaking below this level, we could come back down to test the lows. We need to stay above this downtrend line, keep moving above this, or hold above this 8740 level. So trying to ride up to 103. So good start with ALB, but more work to be done. NUE had a good week, a good start to the week, breaking above this 150 level. Today we've broken back below, filling the gap. So we'll have to see how NUE does over the next few weeks. A lot of these trades are going to depend on what the broad market does. If we start to get a bounce in the Nasdaq, this will lift a lot of these swing trades. If we get some selling off in the Nasdaq and the broader market, it's not going to be particularly good for any of these swing trades. So SEDG, again, much the same as the rest of them, just going sideways the last couple of days. We did add to a couple of longer term positions with Amazon and Microsoft, both stocks testing their 200-day moving average, and our other long term plays, Pfizer, Intel and MJ, again just sideways. We've had a bit of a pullback in MJ, but we're still above this $3 level, so nothing much to report in MJ.